All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to some. Wait. Hello. Mm, Uh. Oh, yikes. Give it a sec. My settings are a little off. Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm a bit laggy, like a lot of laggy. Don't worry about that. Oh no. Hello? Yeah. Uh, let the music stop. Give me a sec. Let me take this off and put this on. It's too laggy for me to play that with that. Oh my gosh. How much delay do I have? All right. Audio. It's a lot of noise for me. Give me a sec. Can you hear me? You should be able to hear me. Hello. All right. Now the stream is working? Question mark. There. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. I don't know why there's a little ringing in the audio. But we're just gonna ignore that for now and get this gaming started. Welcome again. This is me, Rocco and Knights. We're gonna be playing Ace Attorney, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. All right, episode 1. Second. All right. Turnabout memories. Play Turnabout memories. Yes. Can't tell if there's a coming. How did I miss? Do that. Not gonna lie, I didn't see what happened. Girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, that's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it'll be bad news. You're lying. Listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. Nick. It wasn't me. I didn't. didn't do it.
That's what they all say, buddy.
Audio's crunchy. Give me a second. Let's see if I can put my other headphones. Okay. I'll connect this here. This way. Don't touch. Ooh. All right, let me see if I could hear. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I can't hear anything. Oh, now my computer's frozen. Or someone else. Okay, close. Why can't I hear anything? Okay. Oh, for real, why can't I hear anything? I went from one problem to the next. Yeah, it should work. Yeah, I hear that. Why can't I hear this? Whoa, bro, chill. Oh, because there's no audio, that's why. Okay. Wait a minute. Is there no menu button? Okay, let me just do this real quick. Don't worry about it. I'm all messed up on the technical aspect right now. Sorry about that. All right, center. New game. Tribulations. Okay. Yes. This time, pay attention. How did I get into this mess? Why? Why did I do that? That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, that's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk to her like that! That wasn't me. I didn't do it. District Court Defendants, Lobby number 3. Yeah, it's finally time. I'm kind of nervous. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, good morning.
Amir, please, calm yourself down. You're gonna get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior, you know?
What are you talking about? I am relaxed, Mr. Goldberg. Look at me, I'm relaxed.
Let go of my lapels. You obviously haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer.
I'm sorry. It's just that I'm so nervous today.
Oh, that's right. It is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never you fear, my dear. I'm Marvin Goldsberg. I'm at your service.
Actually, this is my second time in court.
Still, you surprised me. What is with that earnest request last night? Let me handle this case, you suddenly said, and quite forcefully too.
I just found out yesterday about the case, I mean.
What? And you already learned all the relevant facts?
Well, about that, you see, I mean, of course I have, I think.
Oh dear. In any case, don't let your client see you're so nervous. You see, the poor young man is in a pink sweater over there. That's your client.
Good morning there, everyone. Good morning. Trying to keep a smile, Mia. I just want to say, give it all I've got. Yep, I'll be fine. No problem. What's wrong? Do you have a cold or something? Mr. Reed? Actually, it's Mr. Wright. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw that up all the time. And yes, I have a cold. That's what this mask is for. The doctor says this way I don't have to give people anything else. Be kind to others, he says. Right, Mr. White. Right. You have nothing to fear in court today. If you're truly innocent, I promise you. Ooh, I already messed up. What's the button to go back again? Whoop, I can't go back. I'm pretty sure there was a button to see the text. Okay. Ugh, please, let go of my shirt. That's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one that should be nervous. You need to stay strong for your client, Mia. My name is Mia Fey, and I'm pretty new at this lawyer thing. The first time I appeared in court was a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so bad I thought I'd never set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and, well, here I am again. But this time I'm going to win. For my client and for myself. April 11th, 10 a.m., District Court Room number 2. All right, let me just do this. All right, perfect. Ah, yes, it's the prosecutor. Prosecutor.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. For the trial.
Oh man, I forgot what he sounded like.
No, that's not his voice. Is it? Mr. Wright. No, that's not his voice, is it? Mr. Wright. Court is now in session for no.
What was his voice I used to give him? It's been like 2 years since the last time I played Phoenix Wright.
Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. Of course, that's the voice I gave him.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
The defense today is Miss Mia Fey, was it?
Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem?
I was under the impression that Marvin Grossman was the leading defense.
Yes, well, you see, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency.
Emergency? But this isn't him standing there right next to you.
Yes, well,
You're just a rookie. Are you sure you could really handle this?
don't let him scare you, Mia. Give him your toughest luck. Of course, Your Honor, I think.
Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please.
Well.
Miss, I can check if my mic can hear me. Yep.
I can't believe a veteran like me has spent this time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. This will all be over soon.
What is that all about? Was he trying to trash talk me?
Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of events on the day of question. The incident occurred on campus of Ivy University. The murdered victim was a student named Duck Swallow. He is a fourth-year student studying pharmacology.
It sounds like he was a very bright young man.
Yes, well, next we have some photo taken at the scene of the crime. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body. And the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway, then called the police.
That certainly does make the defendant look suspicious indeed. Very well, the court accepts the photo into the record as evidence. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death by this photo.
Your reputation for sagacity is well earned, Your Honor. The truth is, the victim died rather unusual death.
An unusual death?
You mean Mr. Payne? What do you mean, Mr. Payne?
Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question. The simple question, I thought I might loosen you up a bit. I am a genteel man, if you will.
A what? Stand up to him, Mia. Show him what you're made of.
A perfect opportunity. Well, what was it? The cause? Go on. At least you know at least that much.
I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file.
My hemorrhoids are beginning to act up. See here. The details of this case are found on the court record. But you knew that already, didn't you?
Ah, the court record. I think I seen that when I pressed the tab.
All the weapons here can be found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data there and think carefully before you answer, my dear.
Yes, sir. I'll just do just that. Gotta stay calm. I can't let this prosecutor get the better of me. The court record. Okay, let's take a look. I just press the tab here.
Now then, would the attorney of defense please answer the question? What was the cause of death?
Obviously electrocution.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hello. I heard stuff. Oh, Percy, thank you for the follow. Sorry, I got confused for a second because I didn't see anything. Also, because I should probably be using this instead of that. Lock preview. This. There we go. Way better for my eyes. Alright, let's look at the photo. And obviously, he was electrocuted by the electrical wire, as you can clearly see in this photo right here, Your Honor. So let's say electrocution. According to the court record, it was a fatal electric shock. In other words, electrocution.
Electrocution? But how could such a thing happen? Did the murder use some type of new super powerful stun gun, perhaps?
The answer will become crystal clear in this trial proceedings, Your Honor. But before that, there is one more visual issue.
A minute. Yeah, okay.
Vital issue.
What is it?
Why, motive, of course. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victims and the defendant.
Bad blood?
What do you mean?
See, I'm terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I shouldn't steal your spotlight like this.
I really don't like this. My smug attitude.
This Winston Payne, for you, he is one smooth operator, if you catch my drift.
You don't.
You don't call him the rookie killer for nothing, you know. Now then, let's hear from the defense. What's the source of bad blood between the victim and the defendant? This time, I want you to see some supporting evidence.
Evidence?
Oh, there's no need to get all worked up about this. As I said, all the evidence can be found in the court records.
I don't remember what I'm just making up different voices for him because I don't remember what I gave him. I don't know if it's a
I do declare kind of voice, you know what I'm saying?
or it's a like more like you know what I'm saying?
That's what I was saying. No, weapons can be found in the court records. I sound like raccoon, kind of. That's what I was going for, but good enough as it is. Yes, sir, Bob. I am Grossberg after all. Find the evidence and you need and shove it to your old graybeard's face. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Into old Graybeard's face?
Mr. Grossberg, try to set a better example for the young lady. Mia, evidence is the only thing that court record people profiles are as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence with the tab, so make sure you go all over it. Now then, let me see what you've got. What is the cause of bad blood between Phoenix and the victim?
Obviously, it's Dahlia Hawthorne. Phoenix's girlfriend dated the victim, Doug Swallow, up until 8 months ago. Obviously, present. The reason for the bad blood between the two of them was this woman right here.
Dahlia Hawthorne, was it?
Very good, Mrs. Fay. You seem to have picked up on at least this much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant, Phoenix Wright. But up until 8 months ago, she was with the victim, Mr. Swallow. Certainly she has played some part in this play of the story.
He's done it again. Before the cross-examination started, he already got the judge thinking like he wants. Very well, Mr. Payne. Please call your first witness.
If it would please the court, the prosecutor would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What, the defendant himself? Well, Mrs. Fay?
It's finally time after all. Mr. Wright's innocent, right? The defense has no objection.
Very well. The court now calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand.
Miss, please state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, right now I guess I'm a suspect.
No, he means what you did before you got arrested.
Oh, university student. Mr. Wright, you understand that you are a suspect of death of the fellow student Doug Swallow?
But I didn't do it. I'm innocent, I tell you.
What's with the defendant? Please refrain from passing this code to the rest of us.
But the famous witness has something he wants to say.
Well then, Mr. Wright, please tell us your relation to the victim.
Right away, Your Honor. Oh, my mom's here. BRB. Ahorita te estoy hablando. I'm officially back. Take a second. Headphones on. Controller in hand. The victim and I. I admit I was there. I'm not the killer. All I did was find his body. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. Oh my gosh, you're lying already? I never even talked to him. Stuck a British point of me. No way, brother.
I see. So you hardly knew the victim.
Right, like I said, I'm not a killer. Phew, it looks like the judge understands.
You're being naive, you know. Too naive.
Huh?
It seems that you've forgotten one small thing, young lady.
And that would be?
This witness has to undergo something called a cross-examination.
Cross-examination?
He's right, and it's the defense duty to carry out the cross-examination. A purpose is to be determined and witness assessment that contain contradictions.
Contradictions?
If the witness is lying, their statements will conflict with the court record.
Mr. Wright is my client.
Even if he is your client, in the court, all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, this is your duty, you see.
What does he mean by that? Is he saying that the testimony just now, there was a lie, a contradiction? All of it was a lie. What do you mean?
Now then, the cross-examination, if you please, Mrs. Faye.
Please, Mr. Wright, tell me you haven't been lying? Nah, that whole thing was a lie. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? I admit I was there. Alright. When you say there, you mean the place where the victim was murdered? Yeah, sort of. The place where something happened, anyway.
Something? You can't hide what happened. We have photographic evidence.
Anyway, Mr. Wright, what were you doing at the scene of the crime? I thought you said you didn't know the victim, Mr. Swallow. It was just coincidence. We bumped into each other by accident.
A coincidence, huh?
But I'm not a killer. All I did was find his body. You say you found the body, so who called the police?
Unfortunately, it was some other student that notified the police.
Other students?
That's correct. They were witnesses. Witnesses who saw the defendant standing there next to the body in shock.
Wait, is that true, Mr. Wright?
Did you stop sneezing every time you're in a bind? Well, it's true that I was pretty shocked when I found the body, but I hardly knew the guy to begin with. So, you didn't know his face or even his name, right? Right. Well, no. That is, I mean... So, which is it? Did you know him or not?
Now, see here. You can't avoid answering the question by sneezing all day.
I guess I did know his name. News to me. Why didn't he tell me that before? I heard he used to date Dolly.
Who is this Dolly person?
Ah, yes, that would be the defendant's lover, Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, I see. A young love so bittersweet.
But that's all I knew about him. I can't even talk to that stuck-up British wannabe. Mr. Wright, you stated that the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy to begin with. That's right. I mean, why would I even... But that doesn't sound right. You hardly knew him. Then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up British wannabe? Well, Mr. Wright? No, it wasn't me. I'm not the killer, I swear.
Mr. Wright, I will give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it that you knew the victim was, as you put it, a British wannabe?
Yes, well... He was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on his back of his shirt. Did you see the scene of the crime? The Union Jack, I mean? Yes, that's right. I saw it on the crime scene. That's why I figured he must love British stuff, see? It's true, cross my heart. I swear I didn't do it. He's acting fishier than a salmon I ate last night.
May I ask you something, Mrs. Fay?
Yes, Your Honor. What is it now?
Who is this person anyway, this Union Jack fellow?
The Union Jack is the name of the United Kingdom's flag.
Oh, I see. So you mean the Stars and Stripes, right?
As usual, Your Honor, your insight astounds me.
Hey, something just occurred to me. Isn't something strange about this bit just now?
Brr, there's a contradiction there.
Mr. Grossberg?
Quickly now, show boy what's the business with evidence on me.
Okay, okay, Mia, check the court record carefully.
Well, my dear, if you think you can manage on your own from this point.
I could probably do on my own. Okay, 1 year ago, I was in a courtroom like this. Do it. I can handle this myself.
You mustn't try to bite off more than you chew, mate.
I'll be fine. I know what I have to do.
Remember, you can always press them to get more information. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, when you're going to state a contradiction, make sure you present some definite proof.
Okay, Mia. One more time. In the very beginning, this testimony. Okay, let's go to the last part where he says that's the Union Jack. Okay. Present. Check. You can't see it. Profiles. Sure, let's put the... Are you certain you saw the Union Jack? Yeah, I'm sure. It was right on his back.
May at some points... is there some point to this line of questioning?
Your Honor, please take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Hey, wait a minute. He's wearing a leather jacket. Union Jack was in the back of a t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression you had accidentally made across the body. But if you're really the case, then you wouldn't know that, would you? You'd have no idea at all what he was wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me.
Yeah, you made the client cry. Let him.
Let him. That P on his chest stands for Phoenix anyways. I can't believe I trusted Mr. Wright. It was all wrong.
That was the impressive bit of cross-examination. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear this man did not simply stumble upon the scene of the crime.
Uh-oh, did I go too far?
By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to be rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it?
Yeah, I took some, but...
What is the medicine that you took? Over-the-counter brand called Cold Killer X?
Yeah, that's right. It kills colds good. Hey, wait a second. How did you know I'm a big fan of Cold Killer X?
Would you happen to have that medicine with you right now?
Well, actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. You lost it? Does that mean... Does this have anything to do with the case? It was probably a scene of the crime.
Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now?
Huh?
Your Honor, I would like to look at another photo from this crime scene.
What's this? The victim's hand. It's Cold Killer X.
Yes, but even I could have got a bottle of Cold Killer X from my apartment.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument wouldn't work. There's no doubts as to who the bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to. Especially since Mr. Wright's fingerprints are all over it.
What?
Sensing the murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine, dropped by Mr. Wright, and hid it in his hand. His purpose in doing so can only have been to identify his killer as Phoenix Wright.
Order in the court. Please.
Your Honor, I would like to present this photo as bottle as evidence.
Very well. The court will accept this into record.
Crime photo 2 added to the court record. Old Killer X has been added to the court record.
Also, the victim's wristwatch was broken.
Broken?
Yes, it would seem functioning and a large wave of electric passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have some kind of explanation for all of this?
This is really bad.
Oh, my buttocks. My poor hemorrhoids.
Not the hemorrhoids. What really happened? The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so he agreed to meet me at 2:45 behind the building. We talked a bit, and then around 3, we split up. And later, when I went back, I found him lying there. I'd been taking Cold Killer X for the last 2-3 days. I lost my bottle around lunchtime on that day, the incident.
Mr. Wright, that's a completely different testimony than you gave previously.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth.
Forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible.
Mrs. Fay, begin your cross-examination.
Oh, please, Mr. Wright, don't tell any more lies. Okay. Had you ever met the victim before then? No, never. But that day he called me up and told me he wanted to talk about Dolly.
And this Dolly person is?
It's kind of embarrassing. She's my sweetheart.
What was that? Oh, my...
Oh, I'm sorry. I just felt like slapping something all of a sudden.
Dahlia Hawthorne was also the lover of the murder victim, Doug Swallow, before she met Mr. Wright, that is.
So it was one of those nasty love triangles, I see.
What is it, Mr. Swallow, who indicated... Was it Mr. Swallow who indicated you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, and we were both right on time.
You said the victim was on the pharmacology department, correct?
Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU.
An alchemist, I see.
I gotta admit, he was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines to run high voltage electricity.
Oh, how fascinating. He sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man.
What do I do? Maybe I should ask him for some more details? I was wondering if you could tell us a little more about the pharmacology department. Okay, well, okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier, your testimony, you said something interesting. You said the department uses strange machines that run on high voltage electricity. That's right. They sure look dangerous. There were non-standard voltages there, so as high voltage cables everywhere. High voltage cables? Yeah, there were electrical poles set up all around the building. The high voltage cables run head over around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. So, what was it that you were talking about? You know, maybe we should hang out again sometime. Hang out again sometime? I wish that were true. So you say you went back. Yeah, that's when I found the body. Yes, but why did you go back in the first place? Weren't you angry with him? Well, that's right, I was. And why, Mr. Wright, did you go back there? I thought maybe we could make up. Judging by the atmosphere, this pretty sure no one's buying this. Oh no, not another bot. Uh, oh shoot. That's rather unusual catch cold this time of year, isn't it? Yeah, I always get a little careless when the weather starts to warm up. Guess I wouldn't sleep the window open this early in the spring, huh? I suppose common sense is not always common. So, did anyone else know that you were taking cold medicine? Well, I always took one after meals, but I'm pretty sure all my friends knew about it. On the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does it have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious.
Yeah, so why would you punch me in the jaw?
I'm sorry. I just felt like hurting someone all of a sudden. No way she's jealous.
I think that's enough for now. So the defendant and the victim are approximately at the same time of death. And the defendant returned to the scene for some unknown reason.
I'm not entirely convinced of this explanation about the medicine bottle either.
Let's be frank here, Mr. Wright. Your testimony, your testimony cannot be trusted.
What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl.
However, there's still one mystery that remains.
There is, Your Honor.
How the murder was carried out, of course. Just how the victim got electrocuted, I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct?
Well, you are correct, Your Honor.
So, what exactly did was what killed Mr. Swallow? If we could somehow establish how it was done, maybe I could still come out of this mess smelling like a rose. Establish murder method. Man, sorry, I need to take off my sweater. It's hot. This room gets warm. It's toast. Back in I go. It's wrong. Yeah, because it was wrong. Your Honor?
Yes, Miss Faye?
I believe that if we were to piece everything together we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died.
That is most impressive.
Quite the brash statement coming from a rookie. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of the court, yes? An attorney must be able to substantiate their arguments with evidence.
Of course, I know that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Now then, Mrs. Faye, let me see what you've got. Show how you believe the victim was electrocuted.
As for the cause of death,
I'd say the picture captures it pretty well.
What? There's nothing that remotely resembles a murder weapon there. I'm afraid the defense is gonna have to give this a bit more detail. Mrs. Faye, what exactly this photo is a murder weapon?
Obviously, the electrical wire that's right on top of his body. Well, naturally, it's right there. That's... What is that?
What is that?
A severed electrical cable, I believe, Your Honor. Remember the testimony we've heard? The machines that the pharmaceutical students use at the experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there's a special high voltage cable strung up everywhere.
Stolen the high voltage cable?
Yes, the high voltage cable is the cause of death. That is the most likely explanation.
That certainly sounds possible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I believe some praise is in order.
Don't toy with me, old man.
Now, the victim's cause of death may indeed have been high voltage cable.
Thank you for the follow. Thank you. Yes, indeed. I am good. And also that is very Bob messages. Like, you did that way too fast. And that's the same message everyone else gives. Menu. Hey. Oh, give me a sec.
However, I want you to think about what this really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use the cable as a murder weapon was the defendant.
That much is certainly true.
Yes, and that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that it was established by Mr. Wright, the murderer.
You do? Well, what is it?
His fingerprints.
Fingerprints? You mean the defendant's fingerprints on something besides the medicine bottle?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim is wearing a leather jacket. As you may know, the leather holds fingerprints quite well.
You mean?
Yes, it was quite clearly printed on his chest area of the victim's jacket. The palm prints of the defendant's very own hand.
What?
I can only think of one way Mr. Wright could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim towards the severed electrical cable.
Order! That is enough! I think we conclude that there's no reason to continue this cross-examination. Stick a fork where we're done.
Mr. Grossberg.
My hemorrhoids never lie. The show is over, Mia. I knew that boy was guilty from the first time I saw him.
Hey, yo, chill. No, you're wrong. Mr. Wright is innocent.
No further evidence is required. No further evidence is required to convince this man is guilty.
Your Honor.
This is the time I am prepared to render the verdict of the case. Do you have something further to add, Mrs. Fee?
This is what I want, Mr. Wright. You still haven't told us the truth, of the whole truth. If you don't say anything now, the judge is going to hand you down the verdict. But I can't. I just can't say it. If I told you what really happened, then I'd be... It's okay, Mr. Wright. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Faye, no matter what it is that you have to say, I believe that you and I'll represent you to the very end.
Already established that the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything.
Wait a minute, Mr. Wright. I'll tell you what really happened.
But I've already told Mr. Wright, there's no need for further.
I did it. I admit I pushed him. That's my fault. It's my fault that Doug Swallow is dead. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, that's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying. Listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that.
What you said, was that the truth?
Yes, I was afraid that if I told the truth, everyone would think I was the murderer for sure.
Well, as things currently stand, you're absolutely convicted, you are.
Please give me more chance to explain. This time I swear that I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it, Mrs. Faye? I believe in you. Oh, thank you. I still can't believe it. You really did push the victim?
It feels like my hemorrhoids is gonna do a Harlem Shake.
Hey, yo? The Harlem Shake? Yo? No way. In this time? Already? Damn. Yes, I didn't make sure that my mic actually works. I haven't just been talking and no one has heard anything. That sure has happened before. Wait, am I not even streaming? Okay, yeah. Alright, back to the game. That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. And at that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started to worry. So I went back. He was lying there dead.
That explanation is really quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that's, as you say, that.
A simple explanation indeed.
At the time of the incident, a little rain had been falling. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted.
But then I pushed him. There weren't any electrical cables nearby. If there had been something like that, I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him wouldn't miss that.
Mrs. Faye, let me warn you right now that your cross-examination doesn't yield any new facts. I intend to deliver my verdict without further delay. Are we clear about that?
Yes, Your Honor. Don't give up, Mia. If he's innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that could prove it. So what kind of things did Mr. Swallow say to you? He said all sorts of terrible things about Dolly. He said that she was a bad girl.
Is that all?
Yep.
Well, Mrs. Faye, you heard him yourself.
Oh boy. You're not doing yourself any favors here, Mr. Wright. Don't make this harder than it is already. Anyways, after he said that, I just Can you tell me about what happened in a little more detail? That guy, he said what he wanted to say to me. And then he put on the jacket he was holding and started to leave. That's when I lost my temper and I flew into a furious frenzy. I just gave him a light, gentle shove of the chest. And when you did that, was there no severed cables anywhere to be seen? Right, there was nothing like that at all.
But this is possible that you merely overlooked it.
Well, I guess that's possible. What are you doing? Just let that guy steamroll over you like a cheap asphalt?
I believe what's important here is the moment the push occurred. Let's continue on the testimony, witness.
That moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A loud noise? And what would you say that loud noise was, Mr. Wright? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like, I don't know. Come to think of it, I wonder what that was.
Clearly, Your Honor, it was the sound of the victim being electrocuted.
You're not qualified to decide that. What should I do? I should train on some dangerous ground here. Some more details. Mr. Wright, the loud noise you heard may be extremely important, so try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It was like a sharp crack. It could be like, it could have been, yes, it could have been, hurry up, tell us. When I pushed him, he dropped the umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it and broke it. That was probably the noise I heard.
An umbrella, huh? And did the umbrella belong to the victim?
Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail, kind of like the owner. Damn, broke too. But then again, I wish I had any umbrella. I was totally soaked to the bone.
Mrs. Fay, what do you think? Is there something important that the testimony just now?
Well, of course it's important. This is it, Mia. The information that you've been waiting for. Of course it's important. No, the cheap umbrella is more than important. It's vital. I want to officially have it entered to the testimony.
What a perfect fitting flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer.
The court agrees with the defense's request. Witness, please add a bit about the cheap umbrella to the testimony.
After I showed him, he fell down on top of a cheap umbrella. As you can clearly see in this photo, the umbrella is nowhere even close to me. So, why didn't you testify about the umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I had mentioned that, I wouldn't have been able to counter the prosecutor's arguments early.
What do you mean by that?
Take another look at the crime scene photo. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. However, if you look closely, the umbrella is nowhere near the victim. Actually, it's the electrical pole.
You're absolutely right.
The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by defendant, Mr. Swallow was still alive.
Order! 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 The victim, he moved! Mr. Payne, the umbrella in this photo, where is it now?
Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene.
I want to present this evidence immediately!
Umbrella added to the court record.
But the umbrella could have been blown
there by the wind. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of the umbrella. There's simply no way it could have been blown by the wind. But
I know the matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render the final judgment. I must say, I still find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecutor's case by the defendant's testimony.
an testimony has been added to the court record.
Well done, Bear. Mr. Payne, what are you chuckling about?
Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much from the free ride. It was so foolish to think I could establish guilt through a cross-examination alone.
I'm afraid I don't follow that's what you're saying.
Let me guess, you have another witness.
Exactly, and this witness testimony would be controversial, contributable.
Well, who is the witness?
Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne? You don't mean Dolly?
Do, Your Honor. The defendant's very old lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place.
What?
I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear.
Bad news? You couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this.
You can't be serious.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop. Court will now enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we will listen to testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
April 11th, 11:52 a.m. District Court, Defendant's Lobby number 3. Mrs. Faye, I'm sorry for what happened back there. It's alright. At least you told the truth at the end, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I guess I could start to relax then, huh?
Relax, my boy. You can't even be serious after hiding such an important fact.
But the next week is Dolly, right? She'll save me. I know she will. Because she's the murderer. Obviously. Why do you think that? What do you mean? She's the love of my life, that's why. I love? The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and this Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and I first met about 8 months ago, right here in this very courtroom. Actually, I was starting to be a lawyer on the side. Anyway, one day when she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. So I really think it was fate that brought us together. What's that thing he's wearing? Why does he look like a thug? As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she was the one for me. Oh, here, take a look at this. Huh? She gave me this to me that day. We met as a symbol of our love. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but then took it off before she gave it to me. She said, I want you to carry this.
So she gave you that to as a present, I see.
That darling little bottle is filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. It certainly is a little bottle, alright. It made me so happy. I could show everyone I met. I wanted to share my happiness with the whole world. It's probably evidence of a different crime, not gonna lie. And like, she's probably mad that he's just showing it to everyone. Either that or like, she's like, oh yeah, show it off. Like, you're the murderer of a different crime because like, I'm framing you. kind of situation. That's kind of vibes on game from the present. Anyway, so after you and Mrs. Hawthorne started dating, yeah, she was so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back now.
What a strange girl asking for a present back like that.
By the way, Mr. Wright, the day we first met Dahlia, Hawthorne 8 months ago, it wouldn't happen to have been on August 27th, would it? Huh? Yeah, it was. How did you know? This happened on August 27th, right here in this courtroom. What's this, a newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder in the courthouse. Murder?
What are you reading there? Let me see. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I understand why you suddenly took an interest in this case. You believe there's some connection between the two cases, am I correct?
Alright.
I hope you don't mind, Miss.
I hope you don't mind, Mr. Gorsberg.
Uh,
I need to finish this myself. Let me see what's in the thing. Murder in the courthouse. A very little information is being disclosed in the incident. Since the victim of yesterday's incident is District Court Cafe, is said to have been a lawyer. What? However, police in questioning the 19-year-old female college student who was sitting with the victim. I see.
I guess I myself. What you will have to be enough, my dear. I'll have to go look into downstairs room and see what else I can find.
Thank you.
I want you to do whatever I can to be of help to me. Well, it looks like a recess is about over. We better all get moving.
I guess so. Recess sure seems longer than 20 minutes, though. It feels like less than 20 minutes, not gonna lie. Alright, save progress. Alright, farewell turnabout. Next one, False Tribulation. Alright, I'm gonna be real quick. April 11th, 2:13 p.m. Courthouse number 2.
Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
Now I'll BRB. Second BRB. Just letting you know, I am on a break. I'm gonna go get some food right now. Just in case you guys are wondering, I'll be back after I get my food and eat. Unless you want me to. For right now, while I'm making the food. Something special. Hmm. Meow meow meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow meow meow. Back to BRB. Last. All right, I have returned. Welcome, welcome.
Court is now reconvene. Mr. Payne, can you call your witness?
Next person is someone who witnessed a crime as it happened.
Oh shoot! Miss it. No wonder the mic wasn't going over there. My drink. My drink.
The prosecutor calls Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
What is this stiff silence?
In my long career as a judge, I've been deceived by many witnesses. It is my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity.
Can't believe he actually said that.
Oh, now then, Mrs. Witness, could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them right to size.
And I shall bash them in with my gavel.
I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. All of you are so nice. I feel almost right at home.
Not at all.
It was nothing.
If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature in Ivy University. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
Your honor is all mine.
No, the honor is all mine.
Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the Oh my gosh. The early 2000s memes. Let's go. Holy moly. Whack-a-mole. Sir?
Is there anything I can help you with?
You can just go and say whatever's on your mind.
I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Rini wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it.
Yes, yes. I can see why you would say that.
She's gonna be a tough witness, alright. Only took her 12 seconds to wrap us all around her little finger.
Now then, please proceed with the testimony. Let's hear what you, the witness on the day of the incident, as you please.
Alright. I had been planning to go back to Freeney's place after the class was over. Freeney and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. It smells like pure, in here. Vete acá en el cuarto, vuela. Una diferente, porque es la silla. No huele nada. I'm gonna open all the windows because it smells like pure chemicals in here. I don't know what. Here, I may grow delusional.
BRB again. No, pero intenta el cuarto acá. Creo que es las ruedas.
¿Y las enfocaste cuando les eché el líquido?
No. ¿Te quieres enfocar?
Sí.
Porque estaba yo sentado aquí y luego de repente me dio un olor como.
No,
No, huele como yo no sé. Como amonia o algo, yo no sé. Huele. Ahí.
Need to vacuum the house. Give me a sec. I'll BRB again. All right, I'm back once again. I have a popsicle, and I replaced the chair with a different chair. Déjalo ya.
¿No lo quiero?
Agresiva. Cierra la puerta, ¿por qué la gata abierta?
That is when Frinny noticed that I was here. I went to go and find some other students and they called the authorities.
I don't know what to say. Of course, you, Mrs. Hawthorne. The defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Young lady, as old as I am, I can recall how hearts and flames of young passion can burn. Nonetheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please tell us the truth.
But I would never. What is more than that's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue.
What do you mean by that?
Please let me proceed with the cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case with a bunch of paper-thin lies. You haven't changed a bit, Mia Fey.
What is...
What is this? So you know an acquaintance?
Yes, we've met before once.
In any case, Mrs. Fay, the floor is all yours.
It's good to see you again, Madame Fay. Madame, I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. Now, unless I'm mistaken, Brini, I mean, Mr. Wright is in the art department. If that's the case, then what are you doing by the pharmacology department? I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese, Senryu poetry.
Oh, what a wonderful, that is humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes.
Nothing left to do. When a man reaches his age, sleep is his best friend. It's supposed to be poetry, sounds more like a midlife crisis. For me, to get an art department, I have to walk through the back area.
Ah, yes, I see, that makes sense. When I walk into the courtyard, I always walk through the front doors.
How else would you enter teleportation? Queenie and Dougie were talking behind the building. So, who is this Dougie person? Oh, I'm sorry. Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago. So, what were Mr. Swallow and Mr. Wright talking about anyways? How can you be so mean? I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't allowed to be so rude and unrefined.
That's just right, Mrs. Fay.
Don't drag weaknesses down to your level.
Why am I being demonized here? Also, that would be hearsay.
Please go on. What else did you see next?
Then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim, am I right? I was watching the whole time. Frenny never did a thing to Dougie. If I press here for no good reason, I just know the judge will get angry at me. So what should I do about the testimony just now? Show contradictions? Because he clearly Phoenix said that he pushed him. Feeble lies, not very becoming, Mrs. Hawthorne. Let's stop the shouting. Oh, I know. These chocolate covered strawberry popsicles are good. Not gonna lie. Oh yeah. Sorry. Evil lies are not very becoming, Mrs. Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never.
Mrs. Fay, I will not allow you to badger the witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is urged. She has no supporting. Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job.
Now then, Mrs. Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found in Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. What? There is no need for you to cover the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing much to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything you saw.
Yes, Your Honor, I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony. Looks like we're finally getting somewhere. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Doug. You didn't see it? Well, I saw the moment when Doug fell to the ground.
And at that time, that was only the two of them at that scene. The defendant Phoenix Wright, the victim Doug Swallow.
Yes, that is right. It didn't look like they were fighting, and I didn't hear anything unusual either. So then, what did it look like they were doing to you? I don't know. They were having a nice, friendly afternoon conversation. Oh, give me a break. That's why I really wasn't watching them all that closely.
Did you notice anything out of the ordinary at all?
No, nothing at all, Mr. Judge.
Oh, I like the sound of that, Mr. Judge. Now then, please proceed with your testimony.
That's already a fat lie. Okay. When you say students, you mean the students from the pharmacology department? Yes, actually very fond of their drugs. Hey, yo, what the hell? Please try to stay on topic. So to find the pharmacology students, you went to the labs, correct? That is what I was planning to do, but in the end, I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out the building entrance. Somehow they seemed to know what's going on. The students knew what was going on? But how could the students have known what was going on? Well, I'm not sure that they knew what had happened. It's just they seemed to be excited about something. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any more info out of the students.
So, did the students call the police?
Yes, I was so panicked.
Yes, well, anyone would have been, my dear.
That girl, she's being an obvious lie and she knows it. Just pretending to protect Mr. White. Yes, that's gotta be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm gonna have to dig deep to find a contradiction in this one. Hmm. Let's start from the beginning because I don't know what to do. Okay, we read that already. Okay. Alright. Hopefully we get somewhere we didn't have before. What am I missing? So then, I don't have the evidence, do I? Oh, this. You say you didn't hear anything unusual. Is that correct? Yes, that is why I was very relaxed looking at the scenery around me. That's nice, but I find that a little bit odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and clearly testifies to the fact that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud sound. He said that? If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well? Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable. But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. It's no way a noise like that would ever fail to make an impression. May I have a moment to answer?
By all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear that noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on and I was listening to music at that time.
Headphones? You mean both of your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up, and it seems that the Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. The sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid the sound of thunder. So I put on headphones to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can clearly see, there wasn't any contradiction to his statements after all.
Wait a second, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change the whole case. There was lightning. Thunder. The thunder. Thunder and the lightning. Your Honor, there is a problem with this witness testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice she said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Well, lightning is in fact a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right?
Now is not the time for a science lesson, Mrs. Faye.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyways, since the cause of death is electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died by being hit with the bolts of lightning?
I must admit, the thought had not occurred to me.
It was just some kind of thoughts do occur to this guy anyways. This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was in fact the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
All right, you did it, Mia. Oh.
I heard that you have such a low opinion of me, Mrs. Fay.
Huh?
I'm not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there's no lightning strikes on the day of the location.
What?
What's more, we have evidence of the electrical wire is definitely linked to the case.
Evidence? Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who is this evidence from?
The pharmaceutical students that were conducting experiments in the lab that day. Allow me to read out the court's testimony of the pharmaceutical students. Our equipment lab lost power all of a sudden at 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely. They lost power because of a severe electrical cable. The power outage occurred approximately at 3 p.m.
Which fits the time of death listed in the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching a severe electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning to have them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump could cause them to break.
However, there is one thing that troubles me. If the cables could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Mrs. Fay, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of this severed cable?
Your Honor. I don't like how this is looking one bit. To come up with something to try and regain the momentum. If it pleases the court, defense would like to state its opinion.
Well then, let's hear it. Who or what is that caused the cable to break?
Obviously. Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony.
The defendant's testimony?
He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened around 3 p.m., correct?
Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that?
Lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits Mr. Wright's timeline. In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to the same conclusion, and it was the very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
I'm afraid we can't agree with you on that one, Mr. Payne.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right, the victim banged to the pole as a result of being pushed. It was the impact that caused the cable to break.
Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, that doesn't make any sense at all. The victim was shoved into a far pole. Then he couldn't have been electrocuted by a severe cable on the foreground here. In other words, someone other than the client must have electrocuted the victim.
Order in the court.
Lamentation of my enemy. I would long to hear them.
It's true. The defense is absolutely correct. right? There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant.
Mr. Jobster, if I may say something, in Madame's Terry explanation, she said some things that are a little different from I remember them. What the? Please, just once more. May I please sit by one last time, please, Mr. Judge?
Of course, it's all right. Go right ahead and give your new testimony.
This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. The truth is, Benny pushed him twice. The first time was the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him, but Benny caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted. It all occurred less than a minute. That can't be true, because it occurred 5 minutes after.
So being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away.
And that's when the defendant pushed him to the second time.
I'm sorry, Freddy, but I just have to tell them the truth. I'm doing the right thing, am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, as you are. Now then, Mrs. Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination.
Mrs. Hawthorne, previously testimony, you said the following. Actually, I didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. I know, I'm sorry. I wanted to protect Greenie. So, that is why you basically lied to court? I was a bad girl, I know. Mr. Judge?
Yes.
Would you please forgive little me? Of course he won't. What you just did was perjury.
Oh, come on, this is just a little white lie.
I mean, fucking Phoenix was lying the entire time. Until he was about to be convicted, and then he started telling the truth. He's like, well, I guess.
We'll forget this time, but please be more careful from now on, alright?
Thank you very much, Mr. Judge.
Not at all. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Let me move this up. Yeah, that looks right. The judge has better made more careful himself. Dark Alley is friendlier than that girl. First all this claim free and pushed him. Oh, okay. You're saying you actually saw the victim was pushed into the electrical pole? I know it doesn't look it, but Bernie can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be. Oh, really? But I never imagined that he would cause an electrical cable to break. Bernie was really scary when he gets mad.
Yes, it sounds very dangerous individual indeed.
So let me get this straight. You happily listen to music on your headphones while you watch this scene unfold? Mrs. Faye, I'll ask you to stop badgering the witness. I wasn't happy. I was scared that I couldn't even move. All I could do was stand there and cheer them on. Cheer them on? What do you mean by that? Well, I wish the best for both of them. That they would each give the fight their all.
That's very sweet of you to be so supportive.
And what happened after that?
That doesn't quite sound right. There were handprints found on his chest in the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also fingerprints on the back of his leather jacket?
Well, no, there weren't.
Madam Faye, may I suggest you listen a little more carefully? I said crashed into him from behind, right? Miss Sweeney wouldn't leave any fingerprints behind in that case, would he? Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted? I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away.
That's understandable.
Yes, indeed. It would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold.
Don't figure out contradiction here. It's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lie, so this is the best chance. There must be a hole in her testimony somewhere. Think, Mia. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand. You will in a minute. Could you please look at this picture? Oh, that medicine is the one Frini likes to take for his colds. It's not the medicine I want you to look at. It's the wristwatch. It's all precisely that the victim was electrocuted. In other words, oh, so it happened 10 minutes after. 3:05 p.m.
Yes, you have a point. Your point is, Miss Faye?
The point is, what time was it the lab suffered a power outage due to the cable snapping?
Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer is clear. It was at 2:55 p.m.
Would you care to explain to the court, Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne, what happened exactly during the 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that, during the interval, the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order! Order in the court!
It's nonsense. It's a real murder.
Even if you can't deny that the time between the cable break and the execution, it's completely unaccounted for.
Then who was it? Who else was saying you could have done it?
There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene. Was there a window for opportunity for the real killer?
Mrs. Faye, is the defense ready to indict someone as the real killer?
It's finally time. The moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well. But remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Mrs. Faye. Now then, Mrs. Faye, let's have it. Who is the real killer?
Of course, it's Dahlia Hawthorne.
There could have only been you, Dahlia Hawthorne.
Give me a sec.
What? How could you? The graphics will show us. 10 minutes passed between the cable broke and the time of electrocution. What exactly were you doing the whole time, Mrs. Hawthorne? Were you really listening to music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find it hard to believe that you wouldn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order! Order, Mrs. Faye! What time why? Why is this say?
Mrs. Hawthorne, I believe that you did witness the two men fighting that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim, you subsequently left the scene. It was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your own hands. How could you say be so mean, Madam Faye? I didn't do anything.
Mrs. Fay, this is very serious charge,
Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say.
What is it?
Please strike everything in the defense said just now for record. What the? Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Mrs. Fay. Totally. She could have done something like that.
Mr. Wright, get back to your seat. Bailiff, grab that man.
Leave my dolly alone.
By that boy.
That boy. He's got himself way over his head.
Oh, Mr. Grossbow, you're back.
It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found a police report for the incident here in newspaper clippings.
Thank you very much. This is exactly what I was hoping for.
You better take a good look at it. It's, indeed just how you came to lose your boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Now then, the defense has very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Oh, well, really, Your Honor, I have to say,
May I interrupt for a moment, Mr. Prosecutor?
don't worry about it, my dear. I have a situation well in my hands.
Sniffle.
Well, go right ahead.
Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of murdering my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright.
I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry, please go ahead.
How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Frinny. The notion that I would try to frame as ludicrous. This is all just too much for my poor little me to bear.
I believe this girl's trying to say as what on earth her motives would be.
That lies somewhere in the police report. It must. 8 months ago, the incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building, and then the same day the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne.
Further testimony about what?
About the events on the day that she met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What would it possibly have to do with this case?
The witness claims that she has no reason to frame the defendant, am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well then, the court grants the defense request. Young lady, would you mind staying for a little bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge. Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne. I first met my dear Frinny 8 months ago. It's just like we're destined to meet. The very courtroom, house basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-dovey, we literally made our people sick. It's just jealousy, I think.
Mr. Wright, do that again and you'll be held contempt of court.
And now we've entered the final act of the little drama.
As you used to say in the days of my youth, go get her.
So, until that time, you had been dating Mr. Doug Swallow? Yes, I'm a real fool, I know. Letting my emotions change so quickly, I'm ashamed of myself.
No, not at all. Look at me. I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have taken calling me the Judge Fickle. Ho, ho, ho.
Maybe you should look for a different line of work.
Despite all that, here I was hinged on the correct verdict. That's why some people also got the correct genie.
It's like we're destined to meet. The courthouse reading room. It's a strange place to meet the love of your life. That's not true, Mrs. Fay. Madam Fay. After all, Freeney's not only an art student, he was also planning to become a lawyer. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Mrs. Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in the courtroom's reading rec room?
Lightness question is waste of time. It has nothing to do with the murder case.
Mrs. Fay, I'm warning you, there's nothing to do with Mrs. Swallow's case.
I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I better tread carefully. Keep pressing, obviously. Your Honor, if you allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue with her testimony.
Very well, young lady, I have a very simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room?
Please, Your Honor, the answer is simply this. I had come to the college for a research paper I was writing. You were writing a research paper? On what? On the relationship between modern senior poetry and the criminal underworld?
Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea.
Am I getting old? Now I have even forgotten what I've forgotten. Begin with the midlife crisis stuff.
Well, why did this girl really come to a courthouse? Isn't that what you want to know? Speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? I went through so much trouble getting me there, so be sure to read carefully.
Let's check the police report. Okay. Victim Diego Armando. Occupation lawyer. Suspect Dahlia Hawthorne. Page 2. Armando ingested poison after interviewing the suspect regarding another case. Traces of poison were found in the victim's coffee cup. No poison was found in the vicinity of the suspected person. It is unclear how the poison entered the victim's cup. Ooh, the little bottle that she has. Alright. Mrs. Hawthorne, you weren't here because of research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason?
What is the meaning of this cocky smile on your face, Mrs. Fay?
8 months ago, right here in this very courtroom, there was another tragedy.
Another tragedy?
You mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned?
The name of the suspect on the incident list here in the report. And then that name is Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect for a criminal case just 8 months ago.
Order! Order! This is unbelievable! It's Judith, the loveliest rose of...
Mrs. Fay, this is not fair. You cannot slander my witness. Winston Pay will not allow it.
Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking.
Pardon me, I go right ahead.
The truth about the 8 months ago. The police expressed some interest in me.
Express some interest.
Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm on the oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during the incident 8 months ago.
I see.
Okay, I tied the two crimes together. Now I've got to stay on the offense.
Well done, Mia. Oh, I've got a little fire in my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed, my spirit or my hemorrhoids.
Uh,
I met the liar who was poisoned to discuss something the day after that day. I left my seats for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison, lethal at least 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't know where to get a poison like that.
So that's what happened here 8 months ago.
However, as you heard from the witness testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up their sleeve today, and I'm sure to show them to you before the end of the cross-examination.
Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger?
Aha, me, the clue with the 2 lawyers over my dear. That's proud posture, that self-confidence, absolutely smashing.
What were you talking about with the defense attorney? Well, I'm sorry, but that's confidential.
According to the reports, you were being interviewed regarding another case.
The lawyer that was killed, he said he wanted to talk about the incident I was caught up in when I was younger. Why don't you tell us all about that incident was?
That's absolutely nothing to do with this case.
Objections abstained. The defense's question is stricken from the record.
You got involved in a lot of incidents, don't you, Mrs. Hawthorne? Well, I guess I was just born under a bad sign.
Don't worry, Dolly, I'll protect you. You hurt the man. Now that's true love, young lady.
Oh, Freeney, please. Like, those 2 are really making me ill. I bet for deciding different reasons. How long were you gone? I've already answered all these questions for the police, but if you must know, maybe 10 or 20 minutes? And where were you during the stretch of time? Using the toilet? What are you saying, Mrs. Freeney? Faye, toilets, my perfect little dolly doesn't poop.
You heard the defendant, Mrs. Faye. Better luck next time.
Oh, Freeney, please.
The police have already looked at the whole matter. This line of questioning is nothing but a waste of the court's time.
Objections abstained. Mrs. Hawthorne, please continue with your testimony.
About how much liquid is 2 teaspoons?
Well, let me see. Out of eye drop says a half fluid ounce, which equals 3 teaspoons.
So it's about 2/3 of that amount, huh? Teaspoon is found in the lawyer's Moffi cup. It must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there. What the hell was it? Ding! Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I could have never known what kind of poison that was. A special kind of poison? How so? Well, I heard it was almost impossible to detect.
Oh, and where would something like that come from?
I'm sorry. All I know is that I heard police saying there was something about using advanced chemical processing to purify it.
Chemical process? Well, that's quite impressive. Mostly impressive.
The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that? See, I'm innocent. I don't even know where to get a potion like that. Yeah. Yeah, you do. You wouldn't know how to get a kind of poison? I don't believe you. But what? In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab?
Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow?
That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Mrs. Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student in Ivy University.
Pharmacology?
His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit would have never obtained such a rare, special poison. Well, Mrs. Hawthorne, it seems you had access to such a special poison after all. And then, it was a matter of slipping into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that with one sitting at this very table is you.
Order! Order! Could it be?
That's nothing but a baseless conjecture.
May I say something, Madame Faye? What is it, Mrs. Hawthorne? The amount of poison in the coffee is 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you will need some kind of container.
Well, yes, that is true.
I was searched immediately after the incident took place.
Quite sure the fact that the entire courtroom was turned upside down.
But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they? He's right. He did mention that in the report. Well, you would have easily gotten rid of something that small. Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw a poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof. Proof? She got me with that.
Provide some evidence, and I will disallow this line of questioning, Mrs. Faye.
Unless we come up with some evidence, we're gonna lose this lead.
The police conducted a full body search of Lila? What was I saying before? Lila. In the entire courthouse, and yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred?
If you're gonna accuse a young lady of committing murder, then where is the poison that was carried in, and what happened to it?
There it is.
You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone who had nothing to do with the case. Someone you knew wouldn't be searched.
Who is this person?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course.
So the defendant was the witness's accomplice?
Of course not. She gave the poison to him, disguised as a present. What? But that's...
That charming little necklace? This is a little bottle, it's really quite cute. So, what about it? What does it mean, Mrs. Faye?
The date of the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago, August 27th, the very same day of the poisoning incident. Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. For the purpose of hiding one piece of evidence that would give her away.
What? What are you saying? There's a deadly poison in here?
No, there's no longer any poison in the bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, it would find trace amounts.
Order in the court.
On behalf of Dolly, I object. Mr. Wright, control yourself. I won't let you bully her like this.
Mr. Wright, I told you to stay in your seat.
Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her? Why? Because I'm madly in love with her.
Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time.
Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyways? Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me too. Mr. Wright, please open your eyes. At this point of the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is because of that necklace. Dolly Hawthorne was not madly in love with you. The only thing she was after is that bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it yourself. Yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she always says the same thing to me. Please give it back to me now.
A strange girl asking for a present back like that.
For Dolly Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back. You're lying. But you never gave it back to her. To make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you. Oh, no, that's a lie.
Mia, are you alright?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, you went completely insane.
Well, where's Mr. Wright?
Looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be back soon enough. Hey,
Thank goodness. Oh no,
what is it?
bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone.
What? That's terrible.
Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me.
Foolish boy. That's the one thing that could have saved him. When the place are we supposed to now? Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court.
I'm sorry.
I'm afraid your apology is not enough.
Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me. I'm sorry. It's okay, just give back the necklace. I ate it. You what?
You ate it?
It was too big to swallow, so I just chewed on little bites at first. Yeah.
What is he doing now?
Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial. Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? The water you swallow has some poison left in it.
It seems the defendant has proven the prosecutor's case for us. The bottle did not contain deadly poison.
How could you be so sure?
I think it's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fleeting defense attorney overreaction of imagination.
So it would seem.
No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must have not had any poison in it left. Either that, or the poison must have lost its potency.
There. It's all right, Ricky. Trusting your clients is the most noble thing a defense attorney could do, and it's heartwarming to see that you place so much faith in Mr. Wright. Much that's how it is for us on the prosecution side too. For example, I would trust the witness Mrs. Hawthorne with my very life, which is why I can state that your assessment of her is completely wrong.
That's enough. Unfortunately, Mrs. Faye, I cannot accept your explanation of the events.
But why?
This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but it's a court of law. Evidence is everything.
Even after I proved so much, is she gonna get away with everything?
Well, now that the suspicion around Mrs. Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed with the trial.
Mr. Wright? I'm sorry, Mrs. Faye. I totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say? There's something I forgot to tell you.
What is it?
That day, the day I met Doug Swallow. That girl, you shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, that's none of your business. I'm telling you, it's for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying. Just listen to me. There's something you need to know about that girl. Last night, someone stole some poison from our lab. Poison? Same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came to the lab that time too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it. Don't talk to her about her like that. Is this true? Did he really say that? That's ridiculous. There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouching down next to him. What? She told me never ever to tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly. Yeah, this is the defense. Miss Faye, you must tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent. So Dolly stole poison 8 months ago too, huh? So if you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, then there's only one possible conclusion. The defendant believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison on the night before she killed Doug Swallow.
The night before?
Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone. Mrs. Faye?
If you're so certain about your theory, then let me ask you this.
Yeah, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something that she so desperately wants to get back, therefore.
Who exactly was Miss Dahlia trying to plan to kill?
Obviously, Mr. Wright, because he had the bottle. There was one person that was standing squarely in Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne's way. That person was Mr. Phoenix Wright. Me? That's preposterous. After all, it was Doug Swallow who was murdered. Well, it's true that that's how things worked out, but let's remember what Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was in fact you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else that it could have been.
But how can it be? I thought Mr. Wright and Mrs. Hawthorne were in love.
Or Mr. Wright, this must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to the incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace, that's all she cared about.
But even so, why? Why would she go so far as to murder him?
8 months ago, just after they followed the attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could think of only one thing: to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible. No, it can't be. It was a pretty good move that she made too. The evidence was missing for a long time, but there was one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, the tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met.
You mean that's why he tried to kill Mr. Wright?
Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence. That can't be true. Finny, oh, what a joke you are. Honestly, how could any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you many times, again, to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me.
Mrs. Hawthorne!
It appears that we're nearing the end of this trial. Fine, I'll tell you the plan on making me into a criminal no matter what I say. You are a criminal, Mrs. Hawthorne. We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? It seems your sniveling little crybaby a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Well, hey, old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with your dumb look on your face?
Mrs. Hawthorne, what's happened to you?
What, are you really that shocked? Or did you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? Absolutely no proof you treat to voluntarily witness, just like a mass murderer? Well, it has nothing more to say. I'm heading home now, if you don't mind.
But we're not finished.
Fine, then ask that nasty old hag to finish up already. Let her get away with this.
Stop, Mia. If you keep pushing any without any evidence, you can pay the ultimate price as a lawyer. The ultimate price. You'll be forced to take off the attorney badge forever, I'm afraid.
No. You'd better think it over carefully, Mrs. Fay. Or should I say, Mrs. Gray?
Well, Mrs. Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish your guilt once and for all?
Mess up here. My career as a lawyer is over. To be honest, at this point, I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof.
Impossible. That can't possibly.
Stupid woman.
In the opinion of the courts, there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will only allow one piece of evidence to be presented.
Just one?
If you are unable to establish your guilt, then I'm afraid the very harsh verdict will be immediately handed down to Mr. Wright.
I understand, Your Honor. I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar. She's trying to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there.
Well then, Mrs. Fay, please prevent your evidence. Show the courts irrefutable proof that Mrs. Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright.
Here it is, Your Honor. Evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all.
Cold killer eggs. Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine.
Does a rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold?
If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned.
What?
Remember what the defendant said in the testimony? I lost my bottle at around lunchtime that day in the accident. I always eat with Dolly. Just the two of us. She was the one who took the cold bottle X. Then she poisoned it knowing Mr. Wright was gonna take some.
Now you're grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine.
I would like the court to recall the crime that happened around 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence?
What are you talking about?
8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace, which then she gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she had accidentally run into the reading room, my client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, that's right. She did the same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime. That's when the murderer, Dahlia Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying a poisoned bottle of Cold Killer X. This was, of course, so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright.
I believe she did testify she was going to meet with the defendant.
Yes, she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and victim were arguing about, and the cut electrical cable. That is when she realized I can't allow Doug to use the several electrical cables to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is when the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who had thought had left the scene, came back to check on the victim. On top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, to put it, in a state of panic. Recalling that she was carrying that bottle of poison medicine, she She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago?
8 months ago?
Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way she did back then. She heard someone's... she had someone else hold it, in that case, Doug Swallow. Oh, come on now, everyone. Surely you aren't fooled, are you? This stupid woman doesn't... It's nothing but a filthy, stinking liar, right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation.
I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Mrs. Hawthorne, the cold medicine, I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some? Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Hey, what the hell? Why did my stream just stop? I don't know why it randomly just died. Don't worry about it. Hopefully it's still streaming. It is still the same one, right? Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was so weird. Okay. Give me a second. Yeah. See what happened. Why my stream keys just randomly just disconnected. It's just fine. For the time being. For the time being, victory is yours. For the time being. Well, I have a very long memory, you know, and you and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Well then, Mr. Judge, I'll see you later too.
But, yes?
I'm gonna go spend a little quiet time with the men in blue now. I wish you the best. She just basically admitted she was guilty. Phew, it's finally over.
I refuse to accept this. The defense hasn't shown any scripted evidence to support their outrageous claim.
Even so, your witness seems to have accepted it.
I don't care. I'm Mr. Payne. I wouldn't believe one word the Ricky Warrior had said.
Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this.
Yes?
Would you care to try some of this cold medicine?
What?
Just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said.
There. That's all right, Rookie. For example, I would trust to witness Mrs. Hawthorne with my very life.
So, if she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison here, right?
You see, yes.
And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, Rookie Killer. Show the rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Are you willing to bet your life?
Oh, my hair is flying in my beautiful hair. Oh, no.
Mr. Payne, about Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll file the papers for her immediate arrest.
Tragic, but it seemed not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning.
Don't lie, just admit you were wrong.
By the way, Mrs. Faye,
Yes, Your Honor.
was it me or did you and Mrs. Dahlia Hawthorne seem to know each other?
Your Honor, whether we did or did not, has no bearing on this case.
Very well. Mrs. Payne? Mr. Payne?
This guy's me as a nightmare. It's like losing my own daughter.
It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair. Does the defendant have anything further to say?
This can't be true. I see your dolly.
Very well then. I believe I'm ready to pass judgment to bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright, not guilty. The court is adjourned.
April 11th, 3:16 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 3.
Yeah, man, you're wonderful.
Thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg.
During the further, I thought the hemorrhoids were gonna explode, but now Mr.
Mr. Grossberg, do you maybe think you could stop talking about them?
Well, alright, that's rather rude. Anyway, the case really made me think. What does it really mean to be a relationship of mutual trust with your client? Perhaps it was we veteran lawyers who have lost sight in this.
Oh, Mr. Wright, congratulations. Thanks. I was thinking, go on. That's all that I saw up there on the witness stand. I don't think that was really her. What? Yeah, the dolly I know would never say those kind of things, terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something? Boy, this poor kid still hasn't got a clue. You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright. For your own sake. Yeah, you're right. It's probably for the best. Also, I need to relax a bit more. Try to grow up a little. But I don't fault my friends. Everyone says I'm the most grown up. Hey, what kind of company does this guy keep? Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying. I thought you were in the art department. Well, yeah, I am. That's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, then I should be able to save him in time. I see. Say, Mrs. Faye, a lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right? Mr. Wright, I'm so new at this myself, but I think that's exactly what a lawyer is. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope we could see each other again. Someday, maybe even in court. It's been 5 years since I acquitted all those charges. I became a lawyer like I planned and I managed to save my friend. Mia has passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some precious ones. The memories that I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia is gone now. Even so, I can hear her in my mind. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. 5 long years. Something that happened that made me think back to her words of wisdom. That's a story for another day. Turnabout Memories, the end. Episode 1, done. Alright. Brand new episode has been added. And I'll see you guys on the next episode of Ace Attorney.
Phoenix Wright. Turnabout. Trails of Tribulations. See you later, and goodbye.